Welcome back. Let's put this in the ether. All right. Hear your father's side before believing your mother's side. What I mean by that? I know a lot of a lot of people, a lot of guys who were raised by single mothers, right? They're raised by single mothers. They favor their mother's side, but they don't want to listen to their father's side. What their father has to do to say, or why did the father did the thing that they did, right? And I just want to advocate guys out there. You know what? Usually it's her fault. Usually it's the woman's fault for all the situations going on, right? And you just can't just take one side of the story. You gotta be a responsible person, right? As a responsible person, listen to both sides. And what I'm seeing that some brothers out there, some fellas, some guys I know, right? They like to take their mom's sides of everything. They think their mom can never do any wrong. You know what? Here's a news flash, right? Woman can lie, right? That means your mom could lie too. Your mom could exaggerate things. Your mom could exaggerate truth, right? Before you jump to conclusions, make assumptions out there, so just take your mom's side blindly. Try to hear your father's side. What do he have to say about the situation? What is his perspective? What make him do the thing that he do? Right? Not only just from single parents out there, from cohesive parent as well. Right? Listen to your father. Right? Listen to your father. Listen to his sides. Right? Before you make any assumptions. Right? And this video is primarily towards the guys who was raised by single mothers, right? But it also applies to guys who live with both parents as well, right? But they're usually guys who have both parents doesn't usually have these kind of problems. But these problems usually apply to guys who were raised by their single mothers, right? Guys who were raised by their single mother usually are least likely to fail in life, least likely to succeed, right? I'm just using statistics. I'm not in general. I'm not saying just because you were raised by a single mother you're a failure in life, right? You could branch off of that. You could be a difference, right? If you know what you're doing, if you understand the situation you're in. But the thing is, most guys out there who are raised by single mothers are usually failures in life, wind up in prison, so overly emotional, can't handle what they're doing, right? But there are also a standard deviants. There's people who part ways from that. But I'm just saying that what I'm getting a sense is that when it comes to their father, right? Try to meet with your father. Try to listen to his part. I know there are some deadbeats out there, right? But usually that's not the case, right? Usually the father have his reason why he can't talk to you, can't be with you. It's usually because the mother applied some restriction, right? Some what's that thing called? Restraining order and all that stuff, right? And usually that's because of the mom, right? And not only that, you have to understand what is the psychology of your father as well. And you take that into consideration. Sometimes guys have their own psychological problems. There's a reason why it leads the mother to make her own decision. But again, she might be exaggerating things as well, right? You have to look through things closely and observe things critically, right? Before you make an assumption, before you come to conclusion, right? There's a reason why mom, some fellas out there are questioning why did the father walk out on them. Well, there's usually a reason why, because sometimes the mom just becomes so unbearable, right, that the guys just can't stand it, and there are some situation where the fathers make an attempt to reunite with the son, and but it get intercepted with the mother, right? Those are the reasons why the guy can't reach out to the son or the children. Let's say that the children, because due to the mother being so apprehensive, being so controlling. Right? Like, the point is, just don't listen to one side, right? Like everything else, you're supposed to listen to both sides. Like a court system, right? You go to court, the judge is supposed to listen to both sides before the judge make an assumption, make a decision, right? You are the judge. You listen to both sides, from both parents, your father and your mother, right? Listen, what do they have to say? Sometimes the guys have no option. They try to make the best thing, but sometimes it's hard. Right? You just can't blame your father. Sometimes your father are making as much effort as can, but it's been getting intercepted by the moms, right? By the divorce court and by all this stuff that comes along with it. Right? So listen to your father. Sometimes your father turned out to be a cool cat. I know some guys who reunite with their father. It turned out the situation was the mom's fault. The mom's prevented the guy from meeting his father, and then after that they got along with each other. It turned out they have some kind of commonality with each other, and they bonded. right? And the guy turned out to understand that, oh, that's the reason why my mom did that and all that stuff. And it turns out the mom just cheating the guys out of a father figure, right? And I don't understand why do women like okay, the kids have a father. Kids have a father, right? The father's not going anywhere. The father's not dead or anything like that, right? Why do they like to use the excuse? Oh, I want him to have a father figure. Well, he already have a father figure. What's wrong with just giving let the dad take care of him? You don't need to marry another man to give your son a father figure. You could give that responsibility to the dad. I don't understand that when women do that, right? They divorce the man, depriving the son or the children out of a father, and thinking that marrying another man would provide a father structure figure. No, that doesn't work like that, right? A kid are more inclined to respect their biological father than it is another guy, right? It doesn't work. It just make no sense, right? But I digress. Back to what I was saying, guys, man. Listen, try to hear your father out, man. Try to hear your father out. Right? Maybe he have a logical explanation why he did that. Right? Sometimes he didn't mean to go out to get milk. Right? Sometimes your mom becomes so unbearable. You can't blame him for walking off on her. Right? You can't blame him because in actuality, if you were in a situation, you'll walk out on her too. I mean, I'm in the same situations. Right? I know men have to go through a lot of things, have to deal with a lot of BS from women. Right? You think your dad don't have to go through a lot of BS from your mom? Right? You don't think that? And that's what guys need to understand. Try to listen to your father. Try to rekindle with your father. Try to understand where his perspective, where is he coming from? Right? Sometimes the reason why you were raised by a single mother is because your mom negligence her irresponsibility from not her inability from closing her leg. I know that's difficult to hear, but that's the truth. Sometimes it's the truth. Sometimes the reason why you were a bastard, right? Sorry if I use that word, right? I didn't mean to, but the reason why you are a bastard is because your mom, her inability to control her legs, and she sleep with a bunch of guys. So in that case, how would you know who your father is? There's nobody else to blame but your mother for being negligent. This is why it's not optimal to have a high body count in women. This is why having a body count leads to irresponsibility. This is why guys don't want to get with a girl with a high body count, right? But I digress on the high body count. That's another video I made. But listen to try to figure out what your father's coming through. Sometimes it's not even your father's fault. How would she know who is her father if she have a train run through her, right? And especially when she's dealing with like 20 guys, you know what type of things she's been to. It's hard to say, right? I don't want to say it, but sometimes these guys, their mother are, 3 or 4s, right? Sometimes you have to apply the responsibility on the mother. She has to take accountability for her actions, right? I know it's hard for you to, if you are in that situation, it's unfair. I understand that, but you somehow, as a man, work your ways out off of that situation and try to understand what both sides are going through. All right, man. Sometimes it's the mom's fault. Sometimes it's the father's fault. But you don't know unless you try to talk to them. But if in this situation, if your mom are known 3 or 4 and have you and don't know the dad, it's usually the, I don't know. I say the woman's fault because why would she put herself in that position, right? The only reason it wouldn't be the woman's fault if she was great and she don't know who she is. That's the only reason, right? That's the only reason. And that's the only reason for her to be in that situation. That's the only reason for you to exist, because she's not willing to abort you because of her experiences, and that's bad. Nobody wants to experience that. That's not her fault of her own, and that's I don't blame her in that situation. That's totally the guy's fault. I don't say it's fault. The guy's fault, because those are a beta male. If you are a product of great, right? If you're a product of great, I understand you don't want to meet your father. I mean, I don't want. If I was in that position, if my mom was great, right, and she had me, I don't want to see I don't want to know my father as well, right? I don't want to know my father, and because that's some beta ass ish, man. That's some beta blue boy sim ish, right? And those guys out there don't deserve any sympathy. Right? I don't condone that kind of behavior from those kind of men. But I'm talking about when you know your father, when you know your father was not in the wrong, when you know your father was trying to do something right. He might make a mistake, but he tried to rekindle with what he had. He tried to make what's wrong right. You have to understand, give him a chance to explain himself, right? And sometimes you have to forgive. Not everybody's perfect, right? Not everybody's perfect. Sometimes you have to understand what the man's going through, right? But listen to your father's side before believing your mother's side, because people these days, even men and women, have the ability to mislead people, have the ability to not be honest and truthful, right? So before you make a judgment, listen to both sides first. Don't just take your mom's side. Listen to your dad's side. Try to contact your dad. Don't be so harsh on him. If you have his own family, just say, "Hey, I'm your son, and I just want to get to know you. I don't want to bring any, just be rational, be upfront with that person, right? But you don't want to go through life without not knowing your father, right? That's hard. I mean, I want to know where I came from. But the point of this video is try to forgive and forget what your father done. Stop blaming your father. Right? I try to understand them, because sometimes the women could lie as well. But on that note, if you have something to say, leave a comment below. As always, like, share, subscribe. Peace and blessings.